Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the world of Kiyln. Today, I have another magical item video for you guys. This time focusing on the holiest of phlogistal substances, Ichor. Before we get into this one, I'd just like to let everyone know that I now have a Discord server. It's meant as a place where you can discuss art, world building, or my world specifically. We're already shaping up to have a pretty cool community over there, so if you'd like to join in, I'll have a link in the description. Anyway, without further ado, let me tell you about some of the common uses of Ichor. To recap some of the basics of the substance, Ichor has extremely potent regenerative properties, to the extent that a skilled Ichor burner can Frankenstein new body parts onto themselves, or onto others, in a process called grafting. Characters who are skilled in this ability, like Mother Centipede and the other Mother Hands, will collect limbs and organs and other loose meat from various sources to use for their experiments. This raises the question of how they preserve that dead flesh when it's not in active use. The answer, of course, is Ichor. What you see me drawing now is a type of container often used by grafters to store biological material. This includes muscle, organs, skin, flesh, bone, and in this case, eyeballs. I imagine these eyes specifically were collected by Hecasta herself in one of her many bargains with common folk. The Ichor contained within these containers is slightly altered from its base form. Through alchemical processes which involve several stages, Ichor can be combined with a distilled liquid aquavita, which is essentially ethanol. This ends up creating a viscous golden syrup, which can preserve biological material in perfect condition for 3 to 6 years, depending on Ichor concentration and the type of flesh. The Mother Hands have massive storerooms of these body parts, built into the subterranean ruins under many Gellian townships. But they can't store larger pieces in small containers like these. For that, they use larger, barrel-sized specimen tubes that would be incredibly inconvenient to transport. Therefore, grafters like Hecasta, who travel often, use the preservative as a kind of lacquer that they spread over larger hunks of flesh. This works relatively well so long as the flesh is put into a more concentrated solution within a week or two. But you may be asking, why is preservation so important? Surely even rotted body parts could be healed with Ichor after being grafted onto a body. Well, herein is an interesting wrinkle of Ichor. After just a few hours disconnected from a body, any dismembered parts cannot be healed with Ichor burning. Even if they're grafted onto a healthy body in this state, they will still decay and rot as if dead. The only way that has been found to prevent this rapid decomposition is to place freshly dismembered body parts in Ichor preservative immediately after severing them from a life source. This extends their period of usability from just a few hours to the aforementioned 3 to 6 years. The reason for this strange quirk is yet another mystery of phlogistal dynamics. The Archdiocese says that Ichor must interact with a soul to function properly. If that's true, does Ichor preservative trap a person's soul within their dismembered limbs? Or is there some other quality of life the phlogistal substances need to express their effects? I know the answer, of course, but you guys are going to have to figure it out on your own. A far more common and far less disturbing use for Ichor is that of incense. Externally burned Ichor is not nearly as powerful as it is when internally burned, but it definitely still has its benefits. Scholars, students, and other analytical or logistical positions often burn Ichor at their workplaces for improved concentration and heightened analytical thinking. Ichor suppresses irrationality and emotion, and the non-burners who use it report feeling a sort of mental clarity and even rejuvenation through its fumes. These effects are not nearly as miraculous or potent as the other substances, and Ichor's rarity means its incense is quite expensive. Its use is relatively rare except among upper classes. Ichor incense burners like the one I'm drawing now would only really be found in big cities and, of course, only in the offices of the wealthy. They are normally adorned and elaborate, as a display of extravagance and piety. Golden as Gellos himself, and carved with traditional archdiocese symbols and prayers. Incense such as this sees use in sermons and rituals to evoke Gellos. Ichor is said to be the holiest of the phlogistal substances, after all. Ichor smells almost like the opposite of earthy. Think almost like a synthetic citrusy scent. It's highly penetrating, soaking into furniture and clothing so deeply it can't really be washed out. Most people do find the smell pleasant, but it's undoubtedly intrusive. It's impossible to ignore, immediately identifiable, and incredibly difficult to get rid of. Also, because I've received a few questions about this, I'd like to confirm that Ichor is the only phlogistal substance that could be considered technically edible. While none of the substances would cause much damage if consumed, Ichor is the only one that can be processed by the body with relative ease. It doesn't offer any nutritional value, of course, but it can be ingested and passed without issue. The third and final item for today is one specific to the hands of Gellos. That is, their distinct and iconic swords. The rapiers of the hands of Gellos might at first seem to be showy ceremonial blades, not useful in actual combat, but don't mistake rare usage for inadequacy. The hands rapiers are both beautiful and functional, weapons fit for expert duelists. The hands of Gellos are trained in sword arts by the best swordsmen in the Empire. They must be able to defend themselves for a variety of reasons. Such powerful healers will undoubtedly be a target for enemies of Gellos, either to assassinate for battlefield advantage, or to capture so that the Ichor-starved lands beyond the Empire might uncover the secrets of the golden substance. As of yet, none of these capture attempts have been successful. Why is this? Well, the first line of defense are elite Miasmalier, Knave, and/or Avant bodyguards. The second is the hand themselves, all of which are exquisite in swordplay and often physically enhanced by Ichor. Finally, if a hand believes themselves to be truly captured, they have hidden means of self-destruction grafted into their bodies, a special poison that acts too quickly for even Ichor to counteract. But let's get back on topic. What's the deal with the hand's swords? Well, their rapiers are forged unique to each hand near the end of their training. Crafted by the finest blacksmiths, they often bear icons of their abbey, as well as other religious and cosmetic flourishes. What you see me drawing here is a kind of base form without these personalized aspects, but each rapier should be different from its brothers and sisters. No two look exactly alike. These swords are symbols of sacrifice and devotion to the Empire, to a rather extreme extent. Each hand must literally put a piece of themselves into their own rapier. This happens near the end of their training, where they are tasked to choose a bone of their body to be surgically removed and replaced. This bone, be it a rib or a femur or even a finger, is then built into their individualized sword, which is awarded to them at their ceremony of investiture, their graduation from training into full service. While this is obviously a highly symbolic ritual, there is practical purpose to it as well. An Ichor burner wielding their own bone will naturally begin to graft back into it. It normally doesn't fuse to their skin fully, but it does form to match their hands and grip perfectly. There is some strange magic here that allows for finer control of biological Ichor manipulation. The handle twists and evolves over the years in ways accordant with the hand's subconscious preference. It might begin to push the blade outwards, lengthening the rapier's reach. It might grow more ornate or more simplified. Some hands even break their swords after compromising its structural integrity after years of prolonged emotional distress. For example, a few of the hands who were successfully assassinated were found with shattered rapiers at their sides, broken through the extreme emotion they felt in their last moments. So, here we are. 3 items relating to Ichor. I'm pretty satisfied with how these items turned out. It's pretty fun to draw objects instead of characters for a change. That being said, I'd love a better name for these rapiers if you guys have any suggestions. I feel like important, unique swords like these need a more impactful title. There's so much to explore in this world, and I'm very excited to keep building it out. Thank you guys as always for your support, and that's all for now. I hope to see you all next time, but until then, farewell.